Welcome to Movies Playback, where we unravel the magic of movies one frame at a time. The movie continues as back at Home Tree, everyone is distraught that Iowa's valley has been destroyed by the humans. As well, in avatar form. The Na'vi are angry with them for bringing the sky people there, although they say they had nothing to do with it. Suddenly Cutie, a Na'vi that has never really warmed to Jake, realizes that Neytiri and Jake have mated. Grace is stunned. At the base, Colonel Quaritch storms into the link area and breaks Grace's and Jake's links. Grace yells at Parker, saying they need more time. Quaritch and Parker want to attack Home Tree, which sits on top of Pandora's biggest unobtainium deposit. They agree to let Jake and Grace link up again to try and get the Na'vi out of Home Tree. Jake and Grace go to Home Tree to try and convince them to leave since they know Colonel Quaritch and Parker will not wait to attack. Jake admits he knew from the beginning they were planning this, and Neytiri starts to sob, saying she trusted him. He tries to tell her that everything changed, he fell in love with her and Pandora, but she screams at him to leave. Grace and Jake are tied up as the military starts to arrive. The aircraft starts to attack with bombs, the Na'vi retaliate with arrows that have no effect. Moat, Neytiri's mother, unties Grace and Jake, saying if they are truly Na'vi, they need to help them. Trudy is in one of the helicopters, but leaves, saying she didn't sign up for this. Eventually, the bombs cause Home Tree to crack and collapse. Neytiri's father is killed in the battle, and the military retreats. Once again, Quaritch breaks Grace and Jake's links. They are screaming that he is a murderer, and they, along with Norm, are placed in a prison cell. Trudy brings the prisoners food but pulls a gun on the guard and frees the three of them with the help of Max, a doctor in the Avatar program. As they are leaving, Jake tells Max to stay behind, as he needs someone he can trust on the inside. Trudy starts up her helicopter and is detected by Quaritch, who bursts out into the hangar and starts shooting. The four of them barely get off the ground. They are going to the floating mountains, where they have another link station, and they cannot be tracked as they are too high up in the atmosphere. As they fly, Jake realizes that Grace has been shot and is bleeding profusely. Once they arrive at the link station, Jake decides that he has to regain the trust of the Na'vi. He takes his Banshee and decides to try and make a connection with the Leonopteryx, who would not be expecting this. He succeeds in training the creature and flies it to the Tree of Souls, where the Na'vi have relocated. Once they realize he has trained the beast, they are in awe of him. Neytiri says she was afraid for her people but isn't anymore. She says, "I see you," which is the highest statement of love between the Na'vi. It means they see into one another's souls. Jake returns the sentiment but quickly says that he needs help, as Grace is dying. Grace and her avatar are both brought to the Na'vi, where Moat performs a ritual that would put Grace's consciousness permanently into her avatar so she would not need to be linked, and she would survive this way. Despite all their pleas to Iowa, her injuries were too great, and she dies. Jake then gives a speech that he knows the Sky People are planning to attack again, and they must stand up and fight. They have to enlist all the other Pandora clans, which they do. Back at the base, Quaritch sees via radar that their numbers are slowly growing to over 2,000 Na'vi. Max sends a video message to Jake, Grace, and Trudy that they are planning to mobilize and attack the Tree of Souls. Jake is alone at the Tree of Souls, where he makes a plea to Iowa to help his people, the Na'vi. Neytiri comes up behind him and says despite his efforts, Iowa does not take sides, she only protects the balance of life. They embrace. The final battle begins with ground troops coming in. They notice that something is getting closer and closer on the radar. It is the Na'vi, on their horses. In the air, the military's planes are planning to attack when they are attacked by Na'vi on Banshees. Jake and Neytiri are among these soldiers, while Norm is on the ground. The Na'vi on the ground are being decimated, as they are going up against guns with bows and arrows. Those in the air are causing some damage, but not enough. Trudy is attacking Quaritch's plane with her own helicopter but is hit and her helicopter explodes, killing her. Norm is also shot on the ground and awakens in his link station, gasping for air. Neytiri is attacked by a plane and falls to the forest floor, but survives. Neytiri is on the ground, hiding but surrounded by humans. Jake screams at her not to attack, as she will certainly be killed. They have detected something else approaching on the radar. Suddenly, all the creatures from the beginning charge the humans, who start being killed in droves. Neytiri screams with joy that Iwa listened to Jake. Jake attacks Quaritch's plane, but Quaritch somehow escapes by getting into a huge robot-like shell that humans can control in battle. He falls to the forest floor and starts fighting with Jake man on man. They are right next to the link station where Jake is still linked to his avatar. Quaritch hits the link station, which causes a small hole to form in Jake's bed. His human body, still linked to his avatar, starts choking. Jake, in his avatar form, is still fighting but is pinned by Quaritch, who is about to kill him when Neytiri appears and shoots 2 arrows right through Quaritch's chest. Once he is dead, she runs over to Jake, who has fallen unconscious due to the trauma his human form is going through. Back in his human form, he stumbles out of his link station but cannot reach the emergency oxygen mask due to his paralysis. Neytiri tries to awaken his avatar form but can't. She then runs into the link station and puts the oxygen mask on Jake's human form. He wakes up and is able to breathe again. She cradles him in her arms and they both say, "I see you." Jake, in his human form, gives his last video log. He says the humans were sent back to Earth, and only a few were allowed to remain behind. He says that he can't be late to his own party, and signs off. The movie ends as at the Tree of Souls, Moat and Neytiri are performing the same ritual they tried to perform with Grace. Jake's consciousness is permanently put in his avatar form, and he opens his eyes.